Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Business Growth Show, where we talk about all components of business and how to utilize them for exponential growth. My name is Athin Cassiotis. I'm a business strategist where I help business owners grow and scale to create freedom and choice. And today, I have an awesome guest. He's an entrepreneur, voice coach, original music composer, and producer. And he works with professional speakers, coaches, political leaders, and voice actors to have iconic stage presence. And he helps you to access your confidence on stage, become a more charismatic communicator, and expand your influence when using your voice. Welcome, Schroeder Nordholt, and thank you for being on my show.
It's wonderful to be here, Athin. Thank you so much for having me, my friend.
You're very welcome, mate. Love it. It's going to be an awesome show today with something that's very dear to me with voice. But firstly, you are a very successful entrepreneur. So for those people who don't know who you are, please introduce yourself by telling us about you and your journey.
The whole thing?
As much as you like, as much as you like to share.
So it's great to be here, and for anybody listening, it's really I was born on, no, I'm kidding. My journey has been very varied, I will say that. So, in discovering how to use my voice and now how I help people discover theirs as well, began from a place of not knowing how to use my voice and becoming very, very frustrated and actually depressed. Like I would actually be not in a good spot. Because in my heart, it was what I wanted to do. I loved singers. I loved listening to singers, and I always loved how I felt when I was able to sing. And I would always ruin my voice though. Like that was the whole thing. I'd always my voice would always crack out. I'd end up being not able to talk even, and so I'd be really down in the dumps, man. And so basically, I became quite fixated, hell-bent even, you might say, on figuring it out, because I knew, if there's one thing I know anyways, is that, this sort of belief in the human potential, right? So when you look at anybody that is great at anything, they are somebody who simply honed their skills. Like nobody was born an amazing Olympic runner. They ran many hours. They put the time in. They put the time in. Anybody in a place, anybody who we look up to with any sort of wow, look at that person. Part of what we admire, I think, is the sheer determination, that they believed in themselves enough to achieve that. Point being, I knew I could do it. So basically, I just sought out some of the world's greatest voice trainers and took tons of classes and figured it out. So it became a passion of mine to share that, because it's partially the joy and the fun and the energy of singing and using your voice in a more conscious and effective manner, and then also just from a practical, do you want to sing better? I can help you with that. Do you want to speak better? I can help you with that. So on both sides. I'm very passionate about sharing what it is that I've learned, and so hopefully I can share some of that today with your audience. Would be great. That'd be like slam dunk. If somebody could walk away from this with some kind of inspiration or conviction that yes, I can be somebody greater than I am now, would be a goal of mine. Every time I show up somewhere, it's plant that seed. You could be what you put your mind at, some iconic. So for me, I always think of a Chris Martin from Coldplay. As a singer, if I could sing like him, so for people listening, it's if you put your minds on who for you is iconic, that's possible. That is possible.
Yeah.
Now, if can I sing like Chris Martin? I'm still on the journey. I'm still working on it. Still working on it.
Yeah, love it, mate.
Cool.
That's awesome. Well, we're always improving, right? That's us in life and
We're
business.
always improving. Big time.
Yeah, that's it. And I love the story because, you know, a lot of the time, you know, as entrepreneurs, we're solving problems and you had the problem yourself. So you're like, I have to go out there and solve this problem for myself. And now you know, you're really passionate about it and really helping a lot of other people, which is yeah, a really powerful story. And I can feel that from you in really helping others to get their message out there. So let's start from the start here now, because our voice.
Mhm.
Why is looking after our voice important?
What a good question. I mean, it's so how much time do we have again? No. Um, I mean, it is basically very simple though, that, you know, if you're not taking care of your voice, you'll ruin your voice. And then who are you good to now? Like like if you have speaking engagements lined up and you put out your voice today and what are you going to do tomorrow? So preventative maintenance becomes really important, like crucial. Yeah. So um, I would say, so when you start from a preventative maintenance point of view, I'm gonna protect my voice. I'm gonna do the things and learn the warm ups and this. What ends up happening is you end up improving your voice in other areas, as in um, when I practice my like example like ma 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 bum dum ma 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 ma, and I do my basic warm ups. That's preventing um, that's preventing strain, right? That's preventing strain. Okay, fine, wonderful, wonderful. However, it's also improving my range. So by doing one, you're essentially activating the full potential you have sitting right now that is dormant. Do you know, like we all have like this massive potential, and so so preventative maintenance, so it's a kind of a multi-leveled answer. I hope does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. I like that. Definitely, preventativeness is important in that area there. And from my experience with voice coaching, because I have done it in the past, it's important to breathe properly when we speak, and most people, I guess, don't do it properly. So, do you want to share a little bit more about why this is important and some key distinctions about breathing properly?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up. Breathing is it's the foundation of everything, right? So there's a few levels that this plays in on, and some of it is just on the psychological plane. So um, often we get nervous, and then when you don't breathe you get more nervous. Like it doesn't help with the nerves. Okay, so like now I'm more nervous, now I'm breathing more shallow, and now I'm even less effective at delivering my, now I'm stammering, I'm stammering, right? So it affects your confidence, and it affects your ability to convey your message on just that level. um, but then I'm just even and then on the when it comes to the actual voice, it's tremendous. It's huge. It's literally foundational. So I want you to think of it as a tire of air, like in your car. If you're not driving with a full tire of air, you're going to ruin your rims. So like voice damage, you're not going to get very far. So you might talk for an hour and then you can't talk for the rest of the day. So the air, it's like so that we talk about breath support, right? Breath support. I have all this air in my body and I can do whatever I want with my voice because I have all this air. And that's without any of the warm ups, right? That's just literally having air in your body, proper amount of air.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Love it.
Yeah, I like the tire analogy. It's like literally like what you're driving around on a flat tire. Like it's impossible, you know.
Yeah, and something that I noticed for myself, and maybe you notice this in others too, is that how we breathe, like, is not normal. Like a lot of people are chest breathers, you know, that they've sort of gone that way. Whereas I know in the voice, and what we should be doing is breathing more from the diaphragm, right, further down in the abdominal area, because that can really affect the voice at the same time as well, right?
100%. Yeah, and I know that was probably, I don't know, half of, for my own journey, like in my own story, was that, like, learning how. So that confounded me. I was like, how? Because I was a chest breather. I was a chest breather full on. That was like literally my, like, half of my problem, why I would ruin my voice. I learned in retrospect, like, it makes so much sense now. Um, and it took me forever. It took me so long. It was a very frustrating process because all the experts would say what you just said, and I would take classes and I'd try to learn how, and it just took me a long, long time. But once you do, that's where it is. It's that's where your full tire of air is down deep into your diaphragm, and it's down low. And then I always say, like, I always tell people when I'm working with them, and so if you're listening right now, you know, your belly goes out, like, you full breathing into your belly, but then you can still breathe into your chest, just number two, like part two. Like, part one is belly, and then now your whole body's full of air, and now you've got all this. That's what, you know, now you've got all this air to use to, like, express yourself however you want to, you know. Your sort of, your voice now is able to float on top of this massive breath.
Yeah.
It literally is transformational. Like, it's, you know, it's, the funny thing is too, is it seems so simple, right? Like, it's like, take a deep breath, but it's like, it's just, it's as I've started saying like this, it's like, it's as simple as it is profound. Like, it's literally so simple, and it's equally profound and powerful to be aware of, you know, conscious of.
Yeah, definitely. It's like building that habit, that automatic response of changing the way that we've done things our whole life, to being the new way of doing things, which is powerful. And you know, and obviously a lot of people, like, especially in the singing world, let's call it, you know, would need voice coaching, like you said, because that's more predominant. But you know, but a lot of people probably that are speakers, and they could be speaking, and it doesn't mean they have to be speaking on massive stages, but just speaking even to smaller groups and things like that. You know, why it's important for them to also have, you know, voice coaching at the same time.
Excellent question. Well, we touched a little bit on it with the longevity. Like, so if you're burning out and you're worried, you know, about, you know, then it comes into play there. I guess you want to think of your voice as the main tool of your trade. And so, like, when you're up in front of people, they're as much listening to what you're saying as how you're saying it, right? So, like, regardless of the business you're in, and especially if you're hosting, like, and appearing on, like yourself right now, Athin. Like, I'm glad to hear you've taken voice coaching. That's really very, very cool, because, like, you're, like, if you're appearing as a, if you're hosting podcasts, if you're hosting summits and doing live presentations, you want to think of your voice as a muscle, really, as it is. and you're the athlete, right? So muscle, so athletes work out, and the, you know, the stronger you are, the longer you can go, and the more you can achieve. So yeah, you need to treat it really well in order to be able to deliver reliable and consistent, engaging performances time after time. Listen, so the fact of the matter is this: it's like, when we use our whole body the way it was designed to be used, working in harmony, with itself, you know, our voice actually improves over time the more we use it. So that's why some voice coaching is really effective, is so you start to learn how to do that, how to use my whole body the way it was designed, so that my voice actually improves over time the more I use it. And yeah, like, so your voice gives your voice gives expression, obviously, to what you're saying. So being careless or having unhealthy habits can make it go all kinds of sideways in an instant, right? So it's really becomes really necessary to become, like, if you're using your voice as in any facet of your business, it becomes something to really focus on as being important to nurture and learn how to nurture it, you know.
Yeah, it's like going to the gym, and, you know, every day or most days of the week, and doing that. And otherwise, you know, you could potentially turn out like a Tony Robbins or something, right? He didn't use his voice very well for many years, and it's changed, and is
He's fun compared. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
he's interestingly somebody who got me into this, like, helping speakers is I I found out at once upon a time he had a voice coach. I was like, well, that's really interesting. His voice sounds horrible. But I think the point was is that, like, he didn't have a voice, like, so his um so he used voice coaching to at least be able to have a voice, like, so, you know what I'm saying, he had ruined his voice. So what we're hearing now is gravelly and whatever, but it's there, right? He got it back, you know.
Yeah, it's yeah, powerful, and I guess a testament to us to realize, well, we need to look after it now so we don't get to that point, over a long period of time, with our voice. So,
Totally.
and
Yeah.
obviously the words we say, in communication is really only 7%. A lot of it, apart from body language, is tonality. So, tonality is really important when we speak. So what tips can you give us, to be aware more of our tonality when we speak?
I always encourage people to, and you can take this or leave it, but to sing, because, okay, so hold on, so just hold on, because most people, they, oh, I don't sing, or, bear with me. So tonality, so if forget about singing to sing publicly. It's not about that. So we're simply waking up our voice so that we have more range, and tonality, not only tonality but resonance, right? So resonance. So, like, when I get people to even just sing your vowels, like, so, like, hey, or I'll go lower. Hey, I, oh, you. Just really getting just one note. Like, we're not singing a song. Like, don't freak out. um, and just sing a note on all your vowels. You're waking up resonance in your voice. So tonality and resonance kind of go hand in hand. And so waking up resonance so that your voice has resonance. So singing is my short answer to that long answer of the question. Like, if you sing, even just for fun, and it is fun, like, that's part of the whole thing too. Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony. Oh my God, and that's ridiculous and fun. But I feel a little bit more, I don't know, just energized. And that was a silly example. Pick a cooler song than that.
It's all good. Gotta have a bit of a laugh, I think, at the same time with what we do to have some
Yeah,
fun.
laugh at yourself. What do you got? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
love it. It's awesome. So yeah, we obviously, we want to do that singing and stuff. Now some people might be like, oh yeah, it's easy for you, Schroeder. You've done all these lessons and things like that. And I would say that I see two types of people, what I see in business, that there's like the more right-brained, emotional people, right? The more creative people, naturally. And these are normally, I see, as naturally better speakers just because they show a bit more emotion in what they do, rather than a more left-brained, logical person, which can be a little bit more monotone, let's call it, right? Because they're thinking more around the data and things like that and how they speak. So
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit more to those people, that might be like, they're a bit more boring, naturally, not no offense to them, but they're just, the way that they process things. What tips or what things could you give to get them a little bit out of their head, to be more engaging?
Hmm. So it's interesting. Like, I'm both. Like, I have very much, and a big part of that is piano playing. When you play the piano, there's a lot of crossover. I grew up playing classical piano, and so you've got this really crazy crossover between both sides. The logic of, like, the math end of, the intervals and the calculations of, how the relationship of that dominant chord leading to the first chord of that key, which leads to all this logic stuff in math and very calculated, and then this other, how to play the song and the emotion behind it. So for the people who are very straight across the board and maybe monotone, again, I mean, they may be the more resistant to the singing, but, like, honestly, um, and everybody. So so again, my answer is singing. Sorry. Um, but there'd be more chips to it. But for the singer, or sorry, for the person who they may be resistant to singing, everybody loves a good, like, no, there's nobody that doesn't like music. Like, so I would pick a song that's like, oh, and literally any song, and like maybe it's Bruce Springsteen, or it doesn't matter like but and just hum along and sing along and see what that does for your voice, and see if you can then take I don't know, a set of figures, like the report, like, so take your report that you're, whatever you're going to be speaking on. I wish I had something in front of me here that was like, some data, some set of data that you're reporting, let's say, and put that to the numbers are, here we go. I don't know. Here we go. This is the numbers that I'm going to share with you today, and just put them to a little melody, and see if you can make your voice do something a little bit different, rather than just this across the straight, across the straight, across. So something that's going to really help to give some arc to your voice. Put it to a melody. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but like we want to have this. We want our voice to come out, and part of that is like going up in pitch and coming down in pitch. So I would always I always go to singing. Like that's my go-to, for better speaking.
Yeah, awesome. I actually learned piano when I was younger, when I finished grade 4 myself as well. So I think I've got a bit of the both sides as well, the logical side as well as that, and I think it's helped me. This is a side thing. I'm just going to say it out here. Why not? We'll have a bit of fun on this podcast. Is I used to do voices when I still can do them, and it was just like I would learn singing, but then my voice broke, as like what happens to males, right? And when you get to a certain age, primary school. But then I would do voices, and I find voices easier, which is interesting. Than a naturally singing voice, and to get into character. So that's just something, a little bit on the side of me. I don't know if you've done a bit of that yourself or not.
That would be sure. No, that's and I do a lot of characters in I think week 4 or 5 of the program micdrop, and a lot of that is speak too high, speak too low, characters from cartoons and that kind of thing. So that could be something that's the logical person might gravitate more to. Like, I'm not going to sing, okay, that's fine. Come up, like, think of a character. Like a good one is and this is really good for again, the resonance is that character in Finding Nemo, Dory. Like, yes. So like she's like real, so she has this like where she's like pretending to be a whale. So the character is Dory pretending to be a whale. And so when you do that on top of like that breath, hello, my name is Schroeder. It's ridiculous, for one thing, but so it gets you out of your head, and but it does all this resonance thing. You'll feel it in your body, you'll feel it in your head, you'll feel different vibrations going on in your all throughout your head, and as long as it's well supported from the breath, from the tummy, like we talked about, it really wakes up a lot of resonance in your voice. So character, that's a really good point.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a really good point. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's powerful, and and I find I put myself into those characters, and you never know, you can have a bit of fun. Say that again.
For you that you. Who's a character that you like?
Who's a character that I like to do? I'll do a few voices now. Why not? I've got like a robot voice. I can talk about that one all day when I do it. So I do.
Hello, Schroeder. It has been an amazing show today. I'm sure you are going to continue to do some awesome value.
I love that. That's got a lot of resonance. I was just trying to figure out what note. like an E flat. I like it. It's a very resonant E flat.
And I can even do an English tea lady voice. I can go a bit higher with my voice and go
too.
Right. Yeah, just, I don't know, little things that I've picked up.
Great fun.
Bit of fun, right? So yeah, no, I don't know. I've just done various things over the years. Yeah.
Do you do any voice acting? Like, have you ever done any? Sorry to switch the interview back on you.
That's all right.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's
I'm just
okay.
curious.
We'll just go with the flow.
Audience will, like, yeah, if your audience would probably, you know, like, have you done any like voice acting, like character?
Just from a young age, I just liked, I watched The Simpsons, and I would, Snake, the guy that, steals everything. And I love this little line. He's like, "All right, I got myself a bed. Why?"
Nice.
I used to do that when I was in primary school.
That's cool.
And then just have a bit of a laugh. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. Oh, totally.
So
Totally.
do you think I've got a bit of talent there that I should maybe do something along those lines?
I just went to a webinar last night on voice acting. And yeah, I think you do, actually. I think you do. You've got an ability to switch from one to the other and really kind of like embody the character in your voice. So it's not just it's not just doing the voice. It's like becoming that character. I think you got something. And apparently it's really lucrative. Like you can, there's people. It's a whole career. I mean, he did say it's a as a career. It's a full. The guy who led it was Richard. Carson? No, Richard. Crossman. And Richard Crossman, and yeah, he was talking about it. It's you don't just decide to become a voice actor. It's a full-on vocation, right? However, I mean, if the opportunity came up, I think he'd have something. He could definitely do some, and it would be a lot of fun.
Maybe I could
So
do
if
some
you have any friends, or, have shows, like animated shows down in Australia, go for it. Just jump on it. Like if anyone's like, "Oh, I need a voice actor,"
Yeah, just do a cameo or something like that, even initially, and see where it goes from there. Could be interesting.
Exactly.
But you're right. It's about the character, and I would say with me, what I see with speakers as well, when they go on bigger stages, is people almost flick a switch to an extent, and maybe they become that character or that speaker persona. Is that something that you see when you're like looking at people to help them to, turn on when they need to turn on as well?
Yeah. Again, great point. And in fact, not only is it something I see, it's something actually I encourage. I have a thing that's like that goes like, if life is a stage, let's bring the stage to life. As in, really just bring it, like bring it out. Become the character. It's because it's a kind of a fine line. Like you don't want to perceive or be perceived as like a different person, but there is a persona of the performer, and it does take on, as soon as you hit the stage, there does take on an element of a performance. And so you do want to think of, like, when you hit that stage, a little bit at least, if not a lot. And most people agree with me, like, yeah, it is. Like speakers who I help, and in general, like people in general, agree that it is a performance. Like, so it may not be like a stage performance as in like all made up, as in it's not real at all. Like that's not what we're saying here. It's more just that we are performing. When we hit the stage, it is a performance, even though it's you're taking on a bit of a larger version of yourself. Let's call it that, a larger version of yourself, or an enhanced version of yourself. And so there's a bit of there's a bit of drama there. There's like a bit of stage. So I do stage acting, coaching, a bit with the voice coaching. It's like bringing out the character, right? Like, because it's, I guess, right. It's not just the you that you think that you are. It's the you that has this message to bring to the world, right? Like it's a more fully activated. I guess it's the most fully activated version of yourself. So it's not a different you, it's the real you. So I actually have a thing that goes, step into the truer than true version of you. Right. So kind of, you know what I mean? It takes it away from, like, we're not acting, we're just becoming like the best version of ourselves. Is really what it is.
Yeah, I love that. What a great distinction there. And And just a little bit more on that, because we're coming back now to in-person events, which is great, right? But virtual events are still here to stay. What do you see are some of the key differences that we should be thinking about when we're using our voice, from an in-person setting compared to a virtual setting?
Oh, that is a really good question. Do you talk about like the relationship with your microphone at all here? Or could we, or should we? Like your microphone is a big one. Like, so like when you're using an onstage. So sorry, what's the question again?
So yeah,
What's
the
difference
differences
between
between using our voice from on stage compared to virtual. You can take whichever way you like, Schroeder.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really interesting one. So usually you'd be, well, yeah, usually in person you'd be standing. So that's one difference. And so like if I were to stand up, right, I should be standing this whole time, but I'm not. I didn't feel like we were like on a big stage here. So I'm standing now, and all of a sudden, I feel more engaged and more enlivened in my body, and so my voice can take on a little more liveliness. So that's one difference. Maybe people, and I see you're standing right now, right, Athin? You've been
No, I'm
standing the
actually
whole time.
sitting, but I can stand. Would you like me to stand? I can put my yeah.
No, no, I'm just saying that you see it, visually. It looks like I thought you were standing. So you
Yes,
have
no,
this.
I've got this background in. I am sitting, but I have a standing desk. So when I present, I do normally stand here as well.
So that would be one difference, right? Is like when you're in front of a live audience, you'd be standing, and then so you can be more in your using your body differently than on Zoom. So here, I'm going to sit back down and be like, okay, so now I'm sitting again, and it changes how I use my voice. And then the microphone thing, because like how does it go? It's like you want to think of the micro, and I hope this is helpful. Um, the microphone is the ear. So like if you're yelling and somebody's ear is that close to you, that's not going to be good. Like you need to be able to, you know what I mean? Like realize that like, okay, um, I'm trying to reach this entire room and I have this microphone, but it's not going to help anybody if I yell into the microphone because that's just going to sound horrible. This is somebody's ear. So you want to treat it like that. Like, so like here I am in front of your ear, right? You know what I mean? As opposed to like yelling. And that's not good for your voice either. So, yeah, I don't know if that's a big distinction that you're looking for. Yeah, the difference between on Zoom slash in person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What about the projecting side of things? Because there's always an energy when we speak, right? And we want to move people with our energy. Like in
yeah.
person, you can feel a little bit more because you're standing up or whatever like that. It's obviously we all love in-person events. Does it mean that we have to project a little bit more or do a little bit more in a virtual sense so people can feel that a little bit more?
I would say so. Hey, you mean in the virtual setting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, you want to avoid yelling, but being more emphatic, like being able to use your voice that's like more dynamic and more engaging, 100%. Like even in either setting, projecting your voice, and so like on Zoom, there is a bit of a difference because there's projecting like having presence in your voice, like having presence in your voice without the need to yell, without the need to be loud, because my voice is like it's coming across. I don't need to yell, but how to be a little more present with my voice. um and then on stage is really like similar, and you can use projection in a way probably that is more effective. Like, but on Zoom, yeah, you can totally enliven things up. Like, I do see a lot of people that are a little bit, I don't know, like just like sort of low energy on Zoom, and it's like, what? Come on, like bring it out. Like, I don't know. Who are ya? Like, make yourself pop. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's just really important to really, really bring it, no matter which like if you're on Zoom or if you're in a room, yeah, bring out
Yeah.
that truer than true version of you. I think I think more and more, like it's even probably more important on Zoom, and that's where I do see a lot of like kind of like lower energy. I think just people are at home and, you know, I don't know, but that's where it becomes more important, because it's like, holy man, this person is like popping. Like when you see somebody who's really impactful, and has a lot of presence, in a way on Zoom, it's a little bit more effective, because it's like we're used to this like low bar almost. I find, do you know what I mean? Like a lower bar of presentation skills, and just kind of a, hi, I'm whoever so and so, and this is what I do, and blah blah blah. I don't know. Kind of, it makes it like more important to be like, hello, how are you? Like more out there. Yeah.
Yeah, love it, mate. Awesome stuff. And you obviously know your stuff in a lot of different areas. So what sets you apart to other voice coaches out there?
Well, I've trained with I've trained with Roger Love, who is apparently, yeah, like he is America's top voice coach, Roger Love, and I've trained with Per Bristow. He's top notch as well, and a few others as well. And I've put together I've sort of pieced together like patchwork, my own method. Took the best of various world-renowned methods, and kind of distilled it into my own. And with that, there is my personality that people seem to like, but also I think most importantly is this idea of like a safe space. I'm really, because of my own journey, I understand the like just the importance for like a safe space. Like, so I've been told that, and I like to make people know that because playing with your voice in new ways can be a vulnerable place, like a vulnerable, like it's like, oh, like, like it's a whole, your voice touches on aspects of your personality and like inner works, like inner parts of your person that maybe kind of, I don't want to say traumatized, but sometimes that have been held back by trauma and let's just call it negative messaging, from our childhoods. Like the classic, children should be seen and not heard, right? And a lot of us are very familiar with that. Like, and so like the psychological damage that did, like, is massive on an unknown level. Like the adults at the time had no idea the limiting, what limits they were putting on the kids at the time, and now here we are, all of us as adults going like trying to find our voice, and it's like impossible because like of this message that's like embedded in our subconscious. So I help people to feel safe to explore what's beyond what they consider their normal voice, and it's often this when you travel and you go into the unknown, it can be scary and I guess just vulnerable. So all that to say, safe space to explore, and to really actually transform more than just your voice. I hope that was what you were looking for in an answer.
Well, good, mate. We go with the flow. Awesome stuff. So,
but it really is. It really is more than just your voice. That's what it becomes this personal. You asked what sets me apart from other voice coaches.
yes.
Right. So it's like this bigger transformation than just about your voice. I've had people say like, you've just saved me thousands in therapy, like just because of like disassembling those negative messages and really helping them to like realize, wow, like I can be as big as I want. You know what I mean? Like getting over more than just being able to use my voice better. I'm now psychologically better equipped to live my life in a bigger way. It's very powerful.
Yeah.
Actually, and fun. Yeah.
Definitely. I love that. You got the voice as well as the mindset side of things at the same time, which work hand in hand.
But it's inadvertent, like it's as a result of. So like when we start going like la 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 la, like it's just I'm not head on addressing, like deep psychological issues, but by virtue of doing the la 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 la, the person just starts to unravel those negative messages. It's just as a result of. So it's actually wonderful, because we don't have to go like, oh, my dad said this and my mom said that, and like I was traumatized. No, it starts to unravel as a result of playing with your voice. Pretty cool.
Definitely very cool. Love it, man. Really powerful. It's been a very powerful episode today on, you know, the importance of our voice and how we can really take it to that next level. So I guess as we're wrapping up now, what one key piece of advice would you like to give to all the entrepreneurs watching and listening today?
Can I use singing again? No, I'm kidding.
Whatever you like, mate.
Sing a song. I would really just encourage people to really take on the understanding that your voice is the reflection of, like it says more about, I guess we touched on it, but really to just become aware that people are responding to more about what you're saying than what you're saying by virtue of how you're saying it. It's like we can betray ourselves with our voice. If we're not aware of how we're using our voice, it can work against us. Like as in, like people are reading, you know, they know they're getting the whole story, regardless if you're telling them the whole story. So to just become more hyper aware of like, okay, my voice is very important to become aware of, as in how I use it and how I express myself, and yeah. And definitely protect your voice. Like if you're using it, you know, it really does boil down to that as well. If you're using your voice in your profession, you want to protect. It's your greatest asset. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, mate.
So, yeah, great. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, great, man. It's a really, really powerful episode today that we've done. And yeah, we connected through our networks where I learned about your, you know, awesome journey from being original music composer, producer to now becoming an awesome voice coach, where you help people to have, you know, iconic stage presence. You're an awesome guy. I'm sure you continue to help people share their message with confidence. You know, I'm very grateful that we connected, and I look forward to working with you. So Schroeder, how can people find you and get in contact with you?
They can get in touch with me on all the socials. You got the LinkedIn, you got the, I'm not so much on Twitter. I never figured out the Twitter and what it was really all about. But yeah, Facebook and LinkedIn are the good ones, and Instagram as well are good places to reach out to me. So they need to know my name, though. They need to know my name. So is my name in the show notes or something like that? Because it's a weird one. Schroeder Nordholt.
Yes, definitely. We'll have that in there, and we'll put all your links. So your LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram links, we'll make sure they're all there. So check out Schroeder, because he's got a very cool, interesting name. And yeah, definitely connect with him. As you can see, a man of many talents, and yeah, awesome at understanding the voice really well, and to really help you with longevity in your voice, or to really express, you know, your true voice, so that you can make more of an impact in the world as well. So yeah, powerful stuff, mate. Yeah, thank you.
Very powerful. I appreciate you having me. It's been really good. Thank you so much, Athin.
Yeah, you're very welcome, mate. And thank you to everyone for watching and listening to this show, where we talk about everything on business growth. And please like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. And you can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as Athin Cassiotis, or visit my website, athincassiotis.com. If you want to grow and scale your business, you can reach out to me on any platform to see if we're a good fit. And I completely agree with you. Or do I? The only way you'll know is if you tune in next time. So until next time, remember that our business grows when we learn skills and take action using them in spite of fear. So remember to design your growth and results.